I've got a very special guest joining me today. He's a man that holds a 39-5-1 record with 18 KOs. He goes by the nickname Cornflake. He has a big upcoming fight on May 31st against Jermall Charlo. That's Thomas LaManna. Thomas, appreciate taking time to come on today, man.
Thanks for having me on, man. Thanks for having me,
Absolutely.
bro. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely, man. Well, let's get right into this because you have a big upcoming fight right now, a couple weeks out. What's going
Yeah.
through your mind right now?
No, none. It's
Mhm.
regular day for me, bro. You
All
know what I
right.
mean? I don't really think about it too much. You know what I mean? I think about it when I'm in the gym. You know what I mean? And I put the work in. But when I'm home, I'm home. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I don't really get into it too much.
I like this. So you're able to kind of flip the switch then between when you're inside the ring and outside the ring pretty well then?
Yeah, for sure.
Walk us through that. Has that always been easy for yourself, or has that just been something that's kind of you've had to develop over time?
No, like I was saying, excuse me, over time you get like when you're younger and
Mhm.
you're like still in, like I wouldn't like so, all right, so I'm in it, I'm in the game and all that good shit, but like when you're younger and fresher, you're just always thinking about it. But like now when you get older, you get more experience, you're
Right.
like, you know, it's just like another thing. Like I'm used to it, right? And I learned to like not overflood my brain with like we're gonna fight regardless,
Right.
like so like, we're gonna fight regardless. So why overthink it?
Exactly. I like that point, man. So let's get into this fight then. You have Jermall Charlo, May 31st. Obviously, we know this is a big fight in your career, but it's not the only big fight you've been a part of. You've been on this stage before. You fought for world championships before. When you
Yeah.
talk about this fight, is there anything different, or is it just another fight you look at? You know what? He's in front of my path. I want to continue my win streak. How are you kind of approaching it from that standpoint?
No, he's the biggest. He's the biggest fight I've ever had. You know what I mean? He's the
Mhm.
biggest name.
Right.
Yeah. So like, I put everything into this camp. We've only kind of been training for it since like the end of September.
Right.
Because this is like the third time, third date. So yeah, man. I mean, but but look, he is who he is. He's a two division world champion.
Hmm.
When he was hot, he was the best. In my opinion, he's the lineal champ without the title, without the stamp. You know what I'm saying? He's still undefeated, never lost his belt. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it's just like, it's big shit. So, but we still got to fight.
Now, you obviously said that he's going to be your biggest one yet. Obviously, the other one that you could say is arguably up there is the one with Laura, obviously, when you fought for world championship. What's the differences between the two of them? Because you said this is the biggest one. You're more so just saying name-wise, or you're saying overall talent-wise?
Both.
Okay.
He's a bigger name than Lara. Yeah, I fought Lara for the world title, right?
Hmm.
Um, that was big. Like that's the pinnacle. Like that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like that's, but Jamal's a bigger name.
Hmm.
Um, Stylistically, they're different, but they're both very good. They're both very dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
neither one of them are easy.
You also mentioned a key point that I actually like the way you approach this because you had the opportunity where this fight could happen all the way back in September. You've been fighting for a long time. It got postponed again because of the Tank Davis card. Now it gets postponed to the May one. And
Yeah.
you decided, though, to stay active. You went and got a fight in between all these times just a couple months ago, back there in March. Walk us through this time because it had to be a little chaotic. You have this big fight lined up, pushed back. Inactivity is never what you guys want to do. So, how did you kind of go through this time span and what led you to also make the decision to go and fight in March?
We didn't want to waste the camp. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I was training for it. You know what I mean? They kept me on ice. They sent me a contract. I signed it. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And yeah, like I was getting ready for it. And then whatever the reason happened why we didn't do it, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna get into that, but thankfully my team, I have a great team that didn't want me to waste the camp. And
Hmm.
I'm friendly with Danny Garcia and his crew, and it was really easy, really simple. And they put me on the show, and we took care of business. Obviously, you know what I'm saying. And yeah, man. And then we just let boxing find us. And then like a week later, PBC called, Louis DeCubis called, and you know what I mean. I still remember the convo. And
Hmm.
yeah, man. He was like, if we're gonna do it on this day, blah blah blah, and things were worked out, and it was cool. So
I think when you talk about inactivity, it's a huge thing. For yourself, that's not going to be your story. For obviously for Charlie, that's going to be his biggest thing. We haven't seen him around the ring for a while now. You've been active, just fought in March. You're also on a big win streak now, 8 week fights in a row now. When you talk about the inactivity standpoint, that for yourself, obviously the activity standpoint, how much do you think that's going to benefit you in that fight, or will it?
um, I think it will, but like we just gotta let the fight. play out. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
definitely.
Just because he hasn't been active or whatever, we don't know what he's really been doing in his time. So that's why I just tell everybody, man. You know what I mean? I'm sticking to it. I'm not trying to sound like a broken record or real cliche. We just gotta let the fight happen. Let the
Hmm.
fights happen, and we'll see, how it pans out. You know what I mean? But there's no question I got the momentum. Like
Yeah,
I'm the one that's been active. I'm the one that's been, you know what I mean, however many, like you just said, all 8, 9 fights in, couple
yeah.
knockouts streak, couple knockout streak. Yeah, so like I got all that.
Hmm.
That's one thing I got over him, guaranteed, undisputable. You know what I mean? Indisputable. I'm sorry.
Right.
Um, yeah, man. So we'll see.
Another huge part about this is that this is obviously something that you said. I think it was in a quote. I think it was either in one of the press conferences or something. You said, "This is my last shot. I'm going to make it my best shot." Can you
Yeah,
elaborate on that a little bit?
yeah, man. That's my last shot. This big at this big platform, big
Okay.
stage, right? Like you know what I
Hmm.
mean. Um, I work my way back. I've been boxing a long time, going on 15 years. I think it was February of 2011.
Hmm.
So we're talking 14 years going on 15. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, man, it's my last shot. You know what I'm saying, and I was gonna make the best of it. It's the biggest name. Jermall Charlo is a bigger name than all 40 plus opponents of mine combined, and
Right.
again, that includes Laura, who I fought for a world title. So I mean, hopefully, I'll uh, benefit from the fruits of my labor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All this time. So, but you know what I mean? It's the truth, man. There's no secrets. My last shot. I'm gonna make it my best shot.
At the conclusion of May 31st, the fight's done. What do you want people saying about Thomas LaManna?
That's a bad motherfucker, bro. Yeah, someone that what I mean. That's a resilient dude, man, and he's the people's champion.
Mm,
You know what I mean? I think that's really what it's all about. I mean, and then quite frankly, it doesn't really bother me. It doesn't matter. Um, I mean, I just one thing I could leave is he never get. You know what I mean? He don't give up. That's for
mm.
sure. You know what I mean? It's a bad dude.
I think that's a huge thing because we look at some guys in recent times. We had fights that people look at and would say it's not very entertaining. Kind of looking back at 2 weeks ago at the Times Square cards and those things. And we had a situation where Mon Cardenas obviously went out there. He didn't win the fight, but he became a people's champion. He won it and put everything out there. When
Yeah.
you talk about that, I feel like that's kind of what you're saying. That no matter what's going to happen, win, lose, draw, whatever, I want to go out there and make a statement that people know that I'm for real and I'm going to lay it all out there. Walk us through that mindset a little bit.
It's just the mindset. I
Mm,
mean, it's just like you said it best. Um, just the mindset you gotta have. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like I'm a plus 700 underdog. Nobody in boxing thinks I'm gonna win.
Hmm.
They chose me for a reason. So
Yeah.
with all that being said, it's like, yo, I just gotta do my part, do my job. And I was talking to my man earlier today, a reporter, and I told him, I said, yo, dude, like I'm human, right? So I'm
Hmm.
human. As long as I don't let this moment get to me, the moment, like the
Yeah.
moment. As long as it don't get to me, because again, I'm human. I don't care all that experience, all these fights, all these years, all these whatever. We're both human.
Yep.
If that moment don't get to me, I got him.
Mm.
Promise you, I got him. That's the mindset I have. You know what I'm saying? So that's like a personal thing.
Right. And you talk about the fact being an underdog, and there's even been discussions. I know tons of people kind of rumoring it out there. Caleb Plant, Charlo, both fighting back-to-back fights. That's the fight they want to make long term. When you talk about being the underdog and knowing that you have a chance to blow up those plans, something that we've seen recently, Raleigh just did against Ron Garcia and blew up those plans. We've seen those upsets happen time and time again. Does that add a level of motivation to yourself when you look at that?
I mean, nah, like that don't add to it, bro. I'm not gonna
Okay.
lie, it don't really add to it. Because you know it is what it is. Quite frankly, I don't be surprised if you see Ryan fight Devin next anyway, because
Good
it's
point.
boxing, it's a business, right?
Right. You're
So
right.
yeah, like it's boxing. So like I just gotta focus on me, on my task, do this in front of me, and do what I gotta do to secure victory, and I'll go from there.
I do have to ask though about the build-up process for this fight. We know that there's a lot of high characters, and you guys had that Zoom call, whatever that was, the very, very first when you guys announced the fight. Obviously, that went viral for countless reasons and different clips from that thing. But when you talk about it, you guys have a lot of characters between Caleb Plant, Charlo, yourself. A lot of high characters, a lot of trash talking. We saw the results from that press conference thing. When you talk about that, how exciting, how fun has it been just doing this press conference with these guys?
Say that last part one more time.
Yeah. How exciting, how fun has it been just kind of being a part of this press conference and this build-up process?
That was cool. I mean, the in person was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's going to get live next week or 2 weeks, whenever it is. Like when we're in
Yeah.
person, yeah. Like then that's where the real shit's gonna happen, though. I was expecting it to be a little more spicy,
Mm-hmm.
a week or two ago when we were in LA,
Yeah.
but nah, I feel like next week, or I'm sorry, in 2 weeks when we're in
Yeah.
Vegas, week and a half when we're in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
we do like whatever we do. There's gonna be some shit. There's gonna be some shit, and it wouldn't be like I just told my wife, like, I'm just dancing to their beat,
Yeah.
whatever it is. I'm just gonna dance to their beat. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I'm here to fight.
I feel like there's some guys that just want to kind of be quiet at the press conferences. It's not really their thing. I feel like you're one of those guys that maybe doesn't want to instigate it, but you do enjoy it when it does get going a little bit. Walk to that aspect. Like, is it fun for you? Like, when there starts getting some trash talk, when things get heated and spicy a little bit, does that make you a little more excited and have more fun up there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
like, you gotta have fun with it though. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like when we were in the in person, Jermall blatantly lied, but was saying how like I was spamming him, how I was blowing him up, how I
Mm-hmm.
was, yeah, I mean, I was texting him, DMing him, you know what I mean, all that good shit. I said, bro, like, I'm pissed because it didn't like come to mind then and there that like, yo, I literally only texted him one time and put like a question mark, so technically two, and I
Yeah.
might have FaceTimed him twice,
All right.
so I'll give him 4 times, and
Mm-hmm.
then on Instagram, if I at you or if I just tag you in a story or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
I don't consider that like you could like, and I put the DMs, I put it out there like the screen recording. It's
Sure.
like it's
Yeah.
not like I'm blowing him up on Instagram. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like it was just atting them, and only that was just because I wanted to know what was going on. But like I
Okay.
said, I was put on ice since the end of September. Um, but to allude to what you were saying, like I have fun with it. Like
Mm-hmm.
where he was like, stop texting me, stop calling me. I'm like, well, just answer, and then maybe I won't. Like, I mean, all you gotta do is answer one time.
Yeah.
I'll mess with him like that, man. Like, you know what I mean? But I still do because I know it's gonna come up next. When we're there, then I'm gonna put him on blast. I'm like, yo, you're capping. Like you've been capping about a lot of things. I'm gonna put him on blast for a lot of shit that he doesn't know that I know, and just get under the skin, man. It's like, yeah, like, why not?
When you talk about this fight, the last thing I want to get into about this fight, what's your prediction? How do you see that night going down?
Yeah, man. I just say, we're gonna shock the world. As we've been telling everybody, we're gonna shock the world. I'm not saying that and really. Uh, that's it. We're gonna shock the world.
Love that, man. Well, I do want to get into your story a little bit because you have got quite the journey to get to this point. I was researching some about you. And I really want to get to know your story a little bit better. So I want to start with this one question, though. When we go all the way back, was boxing always what you wanted to do? Is this the career path that you chose from a young age? Did it take time to develop, or when did you fall in love with the sport?
So I was always born. I was born into boxing. One of my godfathers is Ray Mercer. Former heavyweight champion, Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? So I was born into boxing. My father was his manager towards the mid to later part of his career, and so I was born into it. I played all sports. That wasn't really good at it: football, basketball, baseball, all that good stuff. And then in middle school, one of my good friends, Marvin, he was an amateur boxer, and I was so used to the pro game, that like the professional, that I didn't really know about amateurs,
Mm-hmm.
and he brought me a paper about his gym. It was a Boys and Girls Club of Ireland. I went, and I loved it ever since. I mean,
Okay.
that's the song I want to do. My parents let me go because, just like every other sport, they didn't think I would stick with it. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like they didn't think I would stick with it, and so let me go. But I ended up doing. I mean, I ended up going, and I loved it, and I stayed, and yeah, the career. I mean, the rest is history. That was like maybe 2005, maybe
Okay.
2005. Yeah. So it's been a hot minute.
Now, did you know that you were going to have the successful career that you've had to this point where you're going to be fighting for a world championship, getting this type of fight,
Nah.
or is this kind of shocking to you?
I mean, you know what? Look, you never say never, but like, nah. Like, no, I think I think I would get to where I would get to.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain time in my career where like I had retired. You know what I mean? Like I quit.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Like shit isn't going. You know what I mean? Right for me, politics, and you know what I'm saying. I had to promote myself. I got dropped by a promoter, so then I had to start promoting myself. And
Mm-hmm.
like the juice wasn't worth the squeeze.
Sure.
Is that yeah
Yeah. Yeah.
that wasn't really it for me. And then I don't know, one thing led to another. Came back like months later, and yeah, just continue going. But it's been a grind, man. It's been a grind.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, to say I'm proud is an understatement for sure.
Mm.
Like if I retire tomorrow, like I'm proud, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but we'll close that book. We'll close that chapter after the 31st and see. You know what I mean? What's next?
Depending on what happens May 31st, is that going to determine your career from a standpoint of how many more fights you're going to do? Like, do you see yourself already possibly moving on from boxing in the future? If you win, obviously, I'm sure you have a lot more on the table. But where do you see yourself in terms of how much more you have left in the tank for boxing?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's something that's tough because I could tell you right now, yeah, I'll be done. I'm good with being done today or
Oh,
tomorrow
okay.
or next year. But
Hmm.
then, you know what I mean? Calls come, I get bored. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. But like, no, I ain't gonna lie, man. Like, uh, I'm set up pretty good, I think. Where like I have a gym, I have a promotional company.
Yeah.
Touch wood. It's like, I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit and you say like I'm the richest person in the world. But like I don't think I'm the one of those that need boxing. You understand?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
just
got you.
love it, and I'm in a great position, making good money. That's great. But like again, sometimes sometimes at one point in time, the juice was definitely not worth the squeeze. That's for sure.
Mm.
But prayer, grind, and never stop. Never stop believing in yourself and don't quit. Real all the cliche shit
Yeah.
gets you to good places. Yeah.
I want to get to that retirement portion for yourself because you were considering that 2017. I know that when I was reading about you and researching was
Mhm.
really a tough time for yourself when you were considering that. And then I know COVID as well was another time period for yourself.
Yeah.
When you talk about that, and now you might make it sound a little bit easier, just write it out in a sentence. Yeah, I was retired, but obviously I came back and was great again. But when you talk about going through those times, those had to be difficult for yourself. What pushed you through and what got you through that saying, you know what, I'm going to keep pursuing my dream?
Um, at that time, I didn't have nothing else for real. Like I really
Mm,
didn't have nothing else.
okay.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, like that was right around the time when my then girlfriend, now wife, got pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, like shit got real.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else. A couple talks, a couple. Obviously, I got talked back into it by, you know what I mean. Was given promises by people. Some
Mm-hmm.
some kept them, some didn't. Whatever. Um, Definitely want to give a shout out to the boxing commissioner Larry Hazard, who pulled me to the side, who because I was technically retired, where
Yeah.
he could do that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, Thomas, like it's your life, your career, but I feel like you have a lot more in the tank. Blah
Mm,
blah blah, whatever. And so I thought about it, and so again, the right people gave it, what I mean, actually cared, genuinely cared, and
mm-hmm.
they were like, just give it, kind of like what I was just saying, my last shot, my best shot. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean, it's different of a fight, and that was 8 years ago. You know what I'm saying? 7, 8
Right.
years ago. So the prolong all the time, but like make your best shot. You know what I mean? So that's all. And then just self again self belief, man. Like I knew there was. I think at that time, what I have 2 losses, maybe
Sure.
something like
Yeah.
that. You know
2017.
what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like I lost before. It's like what I mean. I know what it feels like, so it's not like it's nothing new. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I knew there was some maybe some good decent paydays on the horizon, opportunities I'll call it. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
yeah, I should say. I should
I
say.
I love that part too because I feel like so many guys, obviously Floyd Mayweather era really made the zero losses something a massive thing. But I think when people get beyond that standpoint and realize Floyd, it is what it is, you can still have a great career. And honestly, as long as you learn from those losses, I think you become better. And look at yourself. Obviously, you have 5 losses in your career, but you're back in this position again. You fought for a world championship, but you've always found a way to bounce back from those losses. What's led you to do that? Because so many guys, there are guys obviously out there that say, I lost, and they get down themselves. They don't have the confidence, and their careers go downhill. What's allowed you to continue to rebuild yourself and get back each and every single time?
Stubbornness.
All right.
I mean, but I'm also like I've done it on my own. I mean, I have a great team, right? Like I don't want to say me, like we've collectively, like, you know, this last run since Lara, man, look, like, uh, nah, like, yo, my guy Danny Gonzalez, my manager, he's like, he's the main one that finally kicked me in the ass and was like, yo, like, because I came to him to ask him to help me out. Would you manage me? He's an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's another rule of thumb I give the young fighters, like, yo, if you can get a manager that's an attorney that knows boxing, don't just get like some jerk off that's an attorney, right?
Yeah.
Make sure that's someone that knows boxing, blah blah blah.
Agree.
Asked him to help. I laid out how we did it to get to Laura. I laid out what a plan, in my opinion, is what we could do to get to another opportunity, which hence here we are.
Mm-hmm.
And he believed in me, man. Yo, Danny believed in me, man. It's one of my best friends. That's my guy. That's my everything. And he also I have a co-management group now, TMA management, Marty and Tommy. They've been great to me. They've been nothing but they're just true blessings. They're great people. Marty's also an attorney, a contract attorney. So like I got two out of the three managers I have, two of them are attorneys, so that's pretty dope. So I'll just say, there's stubbornness, there's luck, there's experience. Like, I put my boxing brain, tagging along with Danny's boxing brain, Marty's boxing brain, Tommy, like, and we all just come up with a plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have resources. I have a whole promotion company. Like, you know what I mean? I have connection. Like, it's not hard if we do it the right way. And we did it. And we did it. And we stuck to a plan. We didn't get off track. I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna bullshit you and tell you it was easy, because it wasn't. But we did what we had to do, and that's it. I'm here.
I think so many people look at boxing and say, this is an independent sport. Obviously when you step in the ring, it's you versus the other guy. But the team aspect, I think, is such an underrated value that people from the outside the boxing world don't give enough quality to. And you just kind of went to discuss that, the impact of having the manager, the impact of having that team around you. How critical is it for a boxer to say, you know what? Yes, I'm going to step in the ring. I'll do my job when I'm in the ring. But everything else around boxing, I need a team around me, and the right team, I should say. How important is that for a boxer?
No, it's so important, bro. Bro, boxing is so it messes you up mentally so bad, bro. You need to have a team. Now you gotta have a team. Like, you just gotta have a team. And it's funny, if he was here right next to me, if he was listening, he'd probably be flipping me off right now, because I'm very like I'm OD independent, bro. Like I'd rather just do it on my own, because I know it gets done the right way and shit. And he always tells me, like, he always messes with me talking about, flake time. Like, everything's not on flake time. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, jerk off. But you need a team, bro. Yeah, like, you need a team, man. Even with like the promoting, it's like I did all that on my own at one point for budgeting purposes. Like, when you're starting off, grassroots promotion is my heart. It's my everything. Then eventually you build up. You learn the ways. You learn this. You do that. Whatever. You could bring on some more people to help you. It's so important. It's such a difference, man. Such a difference. If you got the right people, though, I think the major key is getting the right people.
Yeah.
You could have, you know what I mean? You could have a team of 4. Bro, there's times, I had one, two. I had 3 people. I had 3 people working, you know what I mean, on my last event we did last month. And they're good. And they're 4, including my mother. And they're really good, okay? Or I could have one really good person that will trump all of them combined. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like you could have one really good person or 4 that might get it done. It all depends, bro. Like, it all depends. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just it's quality, not quantity.
100% agree, man. Now you also have something in your social media bios, dark places. Can you take us through that a little bit? Why do you have that there?
Yeah, man. I think the dark that's always been my thing. Where it really kind of started like in the boxing style, take them in the dark places. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
get in, get them out. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And but that's also life too, man. You know what I mean? Everybody has a story. Everybody has a
Hmm.
story. Everybody has a dark time. Everybody has a time in their life where it's dark. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. I just got off the phone with one of my really good friends. I didn't even know he was in fucking recovery.
Mm.
I haven't heard from him in 10 days. Now I know why. You know what I mean? Like it's a dark, yeah, it's dark times. You know what I'm saying? So it's always been my thing. And yeah, man, it's like people have had it worse than me. I know
Right.
that, and I'm not judging. It is what it is. But I think uh, yeah, it's dark places, man. Boxing is really spooky. Inside that ring, man, it gets spooky.
I also want to talk about your promotions company, and I actually want to go all the way back to why did you originally start it? Because this is obviously you're still a boxer. You decided to become a promotion aspect and get kind of two careers going on at once for yourself. What led you to the decision to go start your promotions company?
All right, so what made me start it was when after I had my first loss, I lost to Antoine Douglas, and I was
Hmm.
signed with Russell Peltz, Hall of Famer, legend. Still to this day, he will forever and a day forget more about boxing than what I'll ever know. He dropped me. He released me. All right. I and I tell everybody, I made 30 grand for my first big that was my first big step up back way back whenever, and I think 2012 or 13, and lost that. All right, lesson learned. Now I got no promoter. Fuck, I got nothing. All right, but I kind of had always the promotion. I had a promoter background.
Hmm.
Shout out to Samson Liskowicz. Sorry, he was the first one to ever give me an internship under Samson Boxing. He
Mm.
did a show in Atlantic City. I fought for him once in Atlantic City. Then he brought me back as an intern. I
Okay.
walk. You know what I mean. I walked in his footsteps. Everything. You know what I'm saying. And I learned a lot. He's a Hall of Famer as well. So I kind of had like the ins and outs.
Sure.
Um, and then I just took it after. Okay, so basically after I got released, I spoke with my mom, my dad. I'm like, hey, I think we should do this. I think we should do it for real. And I couldn't get a bond at the time, so you need a surety bond to get licensed and stuff. Um, I couldn't get that because I don't have no, no house, no car, no whatever, whatever. Okay, so my mom got it. She has all that. She was able to get a bond, so the
Hmm.
license was in her name. Originally, it was going to be Rising Sun Promotions,
Hmm.
Rise SON, like the Rising Sun, the May,
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, nah, that's whack. Let's do Rising Star. So it was Rising Star Promotions. All right, cool. Um, we scheduled an event. It was my get back fight, my first fight after the loss. It was going to be in Millville, where I'm from, and we put everything together. And it just, typical grassroots boxing. It didn't happen.
Hmm.
Um, I learned so much, you know what I mean, of what and what not to do. We had to learn the ropes. We had to learn the logistics. We had to learn the commission paperwork. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And so that didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? That didn't work out. But,
Yeah.
it was trial and error. Then finally we got it December 5th, 2015. I fought on the show. I was the main event. We had like 4 or 5 fights. It was a clusterfuck, but we did the event. You know what I mean? And that's where I really like cemented like, oh, all right, wow, we did it. So December 5th, 2015, that was our very first show. Um, and that's really it. So to answer your question, we started it because I had nobody to move my career. I
Mm.
had no promoter. I had nothing. Right? I didn't have that. Um, and by the way, by the way, I actually had 2 fights before our first show. I had 2 fights before our first show. Okay.
Okay.
Um, Lou DiBella put me on the card, and then another local promoter, Brandon Barrett, put me on the card. who I was with. He was always like my silent promoter, Mr. Vinny Ponte. He did everything for. He was a god sent for me.
Mm.
Mr. Ponte, he's the very first guy I signed with. Again, he was just a local promoter, small. Did a couple shows. Boxing wasn't for him. We went our separate ways. Okay. Then he partnered with Russell Peltz, and I think when after Russell dropped me, Mr. Ponte was with me for one more fight. And then he just got out of boxing. Um, um, okay, yeah, now it's all clicking now. I
All right.
remember. Okay, we didn't want to do like we didn't want to wait for nobody. Like wait for other promoters to put me on cards, and then we have to do guaranteed tickets. This and you know what I mean? Like it's just a headache. Club show boxing is a headache, and I'm a promoter. I'll be the first to tell you. It's hard. It's so hard on both ends. So like
Mm-hmm.
I get it. That's why like I only deal with certain people who understand. I mean, I like
Makes sense. Yeah.
if you're willing to work with me, yeah. So to answer your question, I didn't have a promoter, so I needed to move my career. That's how it started.
Mm.
Fast forward, and now this is our 10th year anniversary. At first, then I labeled it as a successful hobby because I just was getting fucking good at it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just again like throughout all the years, you make the connections, you build relationships with managers, other promoters, fighters. You're able to do good business. I'm able to raise sponsors to get the cost down. Um, I would bring in, X amount of people and bring in X amount of dollars to the. I started at a small ballroom. I'm sorry, theater in the Claridge, in Atlantic
Mm.
City. So selling 600 people is not hard, right? Like it's just not hard.
Yeah.
Okay, filling that place up, doing $10,000-$15,000 bar gates. I mean, I like bar. I was called the bar.
Okay.
That's big for them for boxing. That's
Mm-hmm.
huge. So I would get the venue for free. I would get mad hotel rooms. Like it was becoming a successful hobby. And then, as they say, life is life. And my personal boxing career was like again at the time because again December 2015.
Right.
So it's like the end, basically the 2016.
Mm-hmm.
That lasted about a year and a half. Then I went through my fuck this. I'm gonna retire. Blah blah blah. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the rest is history. You know what I'm saying? Like it's you know what I mean. The rest is history. Now today, I tell everybody, man, this is my life after boxing.
Mm.
It's my life after boxing. So what I'm fortunate is, let's just say I do retire
Mm-hmm.
in 2 years,
Sure.
right? I'm just using that as an example. I got 12 years of promotion experience
Yep.
to then now start. Like I don't have to start fresh now when I'm done fighting. I don't gotta like just go back to 2015 time to figure it
Exactly.
all
Yep.
out. Nah, we just like like you know what I mean, just
Mm-hmm.
transfer it over. So that's the answer for now. Why you still do it? Because life after boxing. Um, I'm good with my 3-4 shows a year. There's some years I did fucking 3 back to back to back consecutive. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I ain't doing that again. And we did it in did 3 shows in 3 different cities, 2 states,
Wow.
3 cities. It was dope. It was dope. It was a fun experience.
Mm-hmm.
But never again.
All right.
Not without a TV budget, at least.
Sure.
Um, yeah, man. So I mean, that's the answer. It's just life after boxing now.
Love that, man. Now, what's kind of crazy about that is almost like as if it was a blessing in disguise because I don't think anybody would have said, I want to get dropped by a promotion company, be put in the situation you were in. And yet this ends up turning into you getting the opportunity to now have your life after boxing for yourself. How crazy is it kind of looking back at that and realizing that truly is blessings in every opportunity, even when things aren't going right at that moment?
Now you said that. Yeah, you know what? No, that's for real, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge blessing because yeah, man. Just because shit ain't going right for you now, that don't mean that the big man upstairs ain't right next to you, bro. I'm a
You're
firm
right.
believer in that, man. Um, yeah, I'm a firm believer in that, bro. Like it's you know what I'm saying? Uh, yeah, I don't know, it's crazy. I'm kind of lost for words. That's for real. Just because
Mm-hmm.
shit wasn't going right then, That means shit ain't gonna go right now or soon. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So, like,
100% agree.
yeah.
Absolutely, man. Well, Thomas, I have one final question for you. It's a question I like wrapping up every single interview with, and that's talking about your legacy. As you said, one day you're going to step away from boxing. When that day does come for yourself, what do you want it to be? What do you want to be remembered for what you've accomplished inside and outside of the ring?
um, yeah. Again, cliche shit. Cliche. I don't want to say it again. Yeah. You never give up. You don't ever, ever give up. You know what I'm saying? Stay true to yourself. Believe in yourself. Um, Sometimes the grass ain't greener on the other side. But there's reasons I lost 5 times. There's reasons I got put in the first round a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying? But I'm back here. Like,
Yep.
it's like, yo, my story, like, God willing, I could write a book. Bro, if I write a book, bro, that book would be crazy because the ups and downs, and it's like, there's not a lot of people, in my opinion, that could even scratch the surface of a career I had. And I say that respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just don't see it. You
Right.
just don't see it. There's a lot of entitlement in boxing. There's a lot of ego in boxing. I think as soon as you put that shit away, magic shit can happen. And you put the big man upstairs first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you there it is. Above all else, guard your heart, and for everything you do flows. Bro, I seen that yesterday.
Yep.
That hit me home. That hit. I'm sorry, like that hit hard yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching. I didn't know if that was gonna be on again today, and I was gonna
Yep.
ask you what it was, but now it's dope. That's a good one.
Awesome.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, Thomas, I appreciate you for taking time to come on in, man. It was a blessing having you on here, and I can't wait to see what God's got in store for you both on May 31st and whatever's going forward after that, man.
Facts. No, I appreciate your time, bro. Sorry for yesterday.
Oh, good,
Thank
man.
God we got it done today.
Yep.
My technology is just whatever. I'm sorry you got to see my sauna in the back, but we're here. We got it done. It's probably better than a car yesterday.
Yeah, it's all good, man. No
Yeah,
worries.
man. So, but yeah, I'm glad we got it done, bro. I'm
Of
glad
course,
we got it done.
you're always welcome on, man. God bless, brother.
You too, man.